Om Purnamadaha Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate Om Shanti 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 Om Brahmanandam Param Sukhadam Kevalam Jnana Murtim Dvandvatītam Gagana Sadrisham Tattvamasyaadilaksham Ekam Nityam Vimalamachalam Sarvadhi Sakshi Bhutam Bhavatītam Triguna-rahitam Sadgurum Tam Namami Om. Adorations to Sadguru, who is Brahman, the giver of supreme bliss, embodiment of pure consciousness, one without a second, vast as the ether, infinite, eternal, beyond the three gunas and their modifications, the supreme preceptor. Yoga Vasishtha Nirvana Prakarana Purvardha, section 59 continues, which deals with the vision of the liberated sage. Such a great soul enjoys the profound peace of the sleepless state, even while performing his duties in this world of practical reality. He sees all developments of the world as mere reflections in the placid mirror of consciousness. This insight into Prajnanam Brahma. Remember 4 great utterances. It begins with Prajnanam Brahma. What is Brahman? Brahman is awareness, absolute awareness. You are always dealing with absolute awareness blended with shifting awareness, just like in a pot of water. There are 2 types of space are there within the pot of water. One is the pot ether, the space that is always there. Another is water is creating an illusion of vast space. Space reflects in that water. So you are dealing with 2 types of space. One that is actual space. Another reflected space. Actual space is your Swarup, essential nature. Reflected space is your Jivahood. You have become an individualized soul, led by ignorance. But in all conditions, both spaces are there. One is the absolute space, another the illusion of space created by thought waves of your mind. The absolute space is pure awareness. So this is the first Mahavakya. The second Mahavakya is you are initiated into the great utterance, Tattvamasi, thou art that. Thou relating to your essential nature. A reflected sun is essentially the absolute sun. So you can always point to the reflected sun and say, thou art that. Just lifting of your finger. But the reflected self has to practice reflection in a different way. Reflected self doesn't go on repeating, thou art that, thou art that. But aham brahmasmi, aham brahmasmi. Focus your attention on aham. Get out of your aham car, the wrong car. and come to real aham. And the result of all this, I am Atma Brahman. This very self that you have been constantly worried about, what will happen to me? Who am I? Where am I going? That very I am in you is the absolute. Believe it or not. When the reflections of consciousness are eradicated, the world enters into the stillness of Brahman. Then the chitta blends with Brahman, and all multiplicities are lost. This is the goal of human self-effort. Human self-effort is directed towards four great values: dharma, ethical value; artha, material value; kama, or vital value, social value; and moksha, infinite spiritual value of life. Moksha is the revelation, I am that. When the four great utterances are assimilated and you come to realize I am that. I am Atma, this self is Brahman. That's the goal of life. This chitta is nothing but a reflection of pure consciousness. To understand the formation of chitta, chitta is the mind stuff. It's the mind stuff that brings out with thought waves in two ways. Vidya, the type of thought waves that lead to Brahmakara Vritti. All is Brahman. That is conceived by your own chitta. All is Brahman. That's Vidya movement, the movement of knowledge. Avidya movement, that's thought waves of your mind constantly involved with individuality of your soul and sustains five kleshas: ignorance, egoism, attachment, hatred, fear of death. The chitta is nothing but a refraction of pure consciousness. Pure consciousness is Brahman, the Absolute. But led through your conditioned chitta, pure consciousness begins to play the role of triad: seer, seen, and sight. All this triad has emerged out of Brahman. All that you see in the world. But this emergence out of Brahman is not real. It's like snake on the rope. Snake emerges out of the rope. Rope has not changed. This is called vivartavad, illusory modification. The whole world process is vivarta, illusory. Brahman has become modified, but not in reality. In reality, Brahman gets modified, then what type of Brahman can you get? Because no matter how you attain liberation, who knows when he gets modified again. So, any idea of Brahman's modification is like snake on the rope. Rope never got modified, but your own mental illusion created it. In this Brahman being modified into the world process, 3 points are important to understand. in order to be free from this illusory modification, mala, vikshepa and avarana. Mala is gross impurities, anger, hate, greed and all that. Vikshepa, constantly mind is distracted by the pressure of subtle desires. Avarana is the root cause of all miseries, that's avidya, ignorance, absence of enlightenment. These three are corrected by the plan of integral yoga in daily life. Your karma yoga movement works upon mala. Gross impurities are short-circuited energies. You correct those short-circuited energies, sublimate them. Anger into forgiveness, cruelty into compassion, pride into humility. That whole movement is purification of mala. And vikshepa movement is corrected by bhakti and dhyana. Bhakti and dhyana together is called upasana. The more you turn towards God and develop devotion to God, greater is an impact on your subtle desires. The subtle desires that are ashubh, wrong, backed up by ignorance, egoism, attachment, hatred, fear of death. Those subtle desires, they will be gradually transformed into Shubha Vasana. Instead of love of being always ignorant, there will be keen aspiration to attain enlightenment. Instead of holding on to your egoism, you will be more inclined to view egoism as a disease, as a headache. Humility is your healthy state. Instead of building up raga, you continue to develop vairagya. Instead of constantly being involved with dvesha, hatred, you continue to develop internal peace of mind by kshama movement. There is nothing really to hate. And it is love that conquers hate. And finally, fear of death is terminated by the revelation that you are immortal self. So, this whole process, upasana movement, brings about great transformation in your personality by changing your vasanas from ashubh, from impure to pure vasana. And avarana, the veil of illusion, is removed by jnana yoga. So all the four yogas are involved. That's called integral yoga. By the knowledge of the self, the desires for the objects begin to wane. Desire for objects is vishayarati, finding constant delight in pleasures of the senses. But the practice becomes a repeat movement. Just like you delighted eating lots of good food. Now, next day you want to eat the same food. And more in a dull-wit manner, you have kept the balance of the food in your refrigerator. And refrigerator has shut down So next day you are eating the same food, but it has become a little more rotten. That's a very crude way to describe. If mind is not interested in spirituality, then what type of predicament you are in? You are repeating the same mistakes unendingly. The script, same Yoga Vasudha calls it, eating vomited food, vamsasi. By the knowledge of the self, the desires for the objects of the world wane. With the cessation of the desires, the mind stops its thoughts concerning the objects of the world. When Vishayarati stops, Ishwar Anurakti develops in your mind. You become more and more surrendered to God, more and more faith that God's grace will enable you to overcome all your limitations. God's grace will ease the severity of your problems and challenges in life. That God is ever present in your heart. So a constant source of strength is drawn from God within you. This Godward movement and Godward love is Paranurakti, Ishwaranurakti. Because the more you experience this, there is a greater opening of divine love. It goes on to an unending, limitless experience. Love that deepens more and more. Worldly love doesn't deepen, it remains shallow. So you fall in worldly love. In divine love, you begin to soar. That's a big difference. When the objects are no longer thought of by the mind, the state of self-realization is attained. When perfect conviction has entered your mind that you are never fully settled because of satisfaction of your desires. So whether your desires are fulfilled or not, for a sage, desires are just like clouds. Clouds appearing in the sky, creating a lot of drama. But you are the sky. If that type of vision has developed, then irrespective of the fact that clouds are there or not, you are enlightened. Because in deeper level, you are unshaken. How can a person well satisfied under a sumptuous feast of the most tasty dishes be drawn to feed on decaying food? Already I gave you that illustration. When you are adopting the Godward movement, which is highlighted by devotion and inquiry, vichar, upasana and vichar. Vichar is jnana movement. Then you are as if enjoying sumptuous feast. Because each time you open your mind to spiritual affirmation, to give a sample of the affirmation, na dharmo na chartho, na kamo na moksha, chidananda rupa sapi shivoham shivoham. Shankaracharya's statement. I am neither involved in dharma, artha, kama or moksha. I am Satchidananda Rupa. I am absolute existence, knowledge, bliss, absolute. Shivoham, I am Shiva, same as Brahman. This form of affirmation now begins to play a profound role in your mind. Otherwise, your mind is constantly after, what Purushartha should I do? Artha means very important, otherwise everything is Vyartha. If there is no Artha, Vyartha means meaningless. Artha means material values. But having done some good progress in your Artha movement, now you begin to turn. What will happen to my dharma? Dharma, Artha, Kama. These 3 points engross your mind in a very profound way. And as spiritual sensitivity develops, you are deeply involved with when will I attain moksha. But instead of keeping the mind exerting in this direction, relax the mind with Brahma Vichar. In relaxing mind means you are creating a profound affirmation that you don't need liberation because you are never bound. You are Brahman. So where is the role of dharma, artha, kama, moksha? All 4 purusharthas are negated. Aham Brahmasmi. In divine plan of life, God is also giving you that lesson in a profound way. That lesson comes to you when you are in deep sleep. In deep sleep, no matter how things were disturbing to your mind, in deep sleep you become completely free. That means in your deeper level, you are absolutely untouched all the time. But that message one does not receive by simple experience of sleep. By vichar, you bring about that state of inner peace that equals as if you have gone to deep sleep. Shanti, what type of Shanti you must experience? A deeper level, a profound conviction that you are like the sky, untouched, unaffected. No matter how the things will move in the world, the real you remains unaltered, unchanged. In his deepest consciousness, he feels as though he is beating the sky with a stick. So the world of experience brought about by desires and their different stages is just like trying to beat the sky with a stick. But this is not the same when you don't have that spiritual enlightenment. When you don't have an enlightenment, then every desire that is frustrated has, as if you have received beatings and you have developed ulcerations. But if you are the sky, all the beatings don't put any ulceration in the sky. In other words, he does not develop the sense of doership, enjoyership. I am the doer, I am the enjoyer. Though performing works, he abides in the consciousness of actionlessness, ever busy with work activity, and yet absolutely like the sky deep within. This point we have explained to you before and repeating it again. All experiences in life are backed up by your prarabdha karma, fructifying karma. If you are not enlightened, then as your prarabdha karma wears off, you are creating new karmas, agami karma. In the case of a sage, only his prarabdha karma continues without affecting his inner self. But while prarabdha karma continues, it brings about three types of experience. Aniccha prarabdha, first begin with ichcha prarabdha. Prarabdha that is according to your own wishes. You see certain wishes arise in your mind and things are fulfilled. That's ichcha prarabdha. Certain things you are led to do out of joy because of your good companions, good or bad, whoever. That's called parichcha prarabdha. And there are times when things develop against your normal desire, called aniccha prarabdha. No one wants to have a headache. No one wants to have a cancer. No one wants to have any disability. But look into the story of sages and saints. They all have suffered. This they never wanted. It's called aniccha prarabdha. So all these prarabdha karmas continue without shaking up the sky-like heart of the sage. And that's called Jivan Mukti, liberation. O Rama, give up the mental concern. May I attain liberation. Even the very concern within your mind. In the beginning stage, that concern is a good quality, called aspiration for God realization. How much it should be burning aspiration, called mumukshutva. But as you mature, that intense thirst for liberation should calm down, because it is going to appear spontaneously. All that you need to do is open the window. Now don't remain with concern. Will the sun enter my room? Wait. A cloud moves away and the sunlight pours itself into your dark room. So mental concern is not needed. All that you need is to calm your mind. Enter into the gateway of serenity, shama. So all this concern, may I attain liberation? Is it possible to attain liberation in this life or not? All this concern moves away. Thus you will move on to that which is beyond all mental concepts. When the memory of both liberation and bondage is effaced from your consciousness, memories of how much you have worked for attaining liberation and how much you have suffered from bondage, these experiences continue to be while you practice your spiritual inquiry. But when you are highly advanced, the question of bondage and release doesn't arise. Serenity silences your ego, turns your intellect into an intuitional stage, and therefore the question of how long I have been in bondage and now I am attaining liberation doesn't arise. When you go into deep sleep, the question how long I have been suffering to sleep and how wonderful sleep now I am having, question doesn't arise. It is one's sankalpa, mental will for an objective development, which expresses itself in the form of vibrations of consciousness, leading to the awareness of bondage, and consequently the need for attaining liberation. Subtle point is being given to you that Yoga Vasishtha again and again brings that. Always understand your experience in this world is like a cinema show brought about by thought waves of your mind. Your mind is creating, mind is a mechanical device that is projecting the world of illusion, triad, seer, seen, and sight. This machinery is never tired, continues to project triad. And the triad, nothing in the triad is real. But what makes the triad real is the screen. And that which makes the triad real is untouched by the triad. Your screen-like consciousness is absolute consciousness. Another point, when you are gripped by triad, your concept of progress is in the realm of time and space. And it is an illusory progress. In simple terms, gripped by triad, you seek progress by karma. And karma brings about fruits of karma. And you go on looking for better and better fruits. But sometimes better, sometimes bitter. And you are constantly dangling in this world. So that type of movement is called bhava pratyaya. Your concept of progress lies in the realm of projection. You are watching a cinema show, but all the time you are in suspense, waiting for something to happen in the show that will bring you thrill, that will justify the money you have spent for coming to the cinema show. So that is sample of bhava pratyaya. Pratyaya bhava, where the show itself is over and you are disinterested in the show, knowing the show is just an illusion. Every actor is just playing a role In reality, nothing is happening to the actor. So that type of internal detachment from the projections of the world is called pratyaya bhav. Bhav pratyaya, presence of the awareness of the triad. Pratyaya bhav, that relative awareness is no longer present. Absence of the relative awareness. Put it in a simple way, presence of relative awareness, presence of relative consciousness, and absence of that relative consciousness. Two types, bhav pratyaya, pratyaya bhav. When the very ego is dissolved by the knowledge of the self, the question of who will attain liberation and who will stay in the state of bondage does not arise. There is neither bandhan nor mukti. When a person doesn't associate with his mental thoughts because he realizes himself to be the witnessing self, his sankalpas vanish like mist before the rising sun. This is a description of para vairagya. Two types of vairagya. While you are progressing in the world of karma, you become detached from negative karmas and go on doing positive ones. That movement is that type of dispassion. Is simple vairagya. Simple vairagya is changing the stage of bhav pratyaya. Supreme dispassion is taking away the entire projections away, leaving only the screen behind. So that type of vairagya, that is detaching your soul from the world of triad and letting your soul experience the revelation, aham brahmasmi. That vairagya is para vairagya, supreme dispassion. And with this I'm going to conclude for now. Om. Om. Ram, 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 Ram. Om Namah Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya. Om. Prayer for shower of Karunamaya Ras grace of God over all of you with the blessings of Shakti, Bhakti and Mukti. Om Trayambakam Yajamahe Sugandhim Pushti Vardhanam Urvarukum Bandhanan Mrityor Mukshiyama Mritat. Om Sarve Bhavantu Sukhina Sarve Santu Niramaya Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu Ma Kashchid Dukha Bhag Bhavet. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Tat Sat.